Today I am sharing with you the books that I read in January and February, from my least favorite to my most favorite, but hopefully some of these will spark some interest for you. The first one that I read was The Stardust Thief. This was recommended to me by a viewer when I talked about how I love descriptive writing, especially when it comes to place. This one was a slight miss for me, but I do think if you like Arabian Nights style reading, you will probably enjoy this. This is a trilogy, and is where the Midnight Merchant, she ends up helping to save the prince and therefore ends up having to go on a journey with him. And there's jinns and there's magic, a desert, a very dry desert. And, it was a good book, but if you like Arabian Night style reads, I do think you will enjoy this. The second book I read was When the Tides Held the Moon. And this is one of those books that I picked up. I started reading it. The world was going sideways and I had to put it down for a bit. And then I came back to it in January because of the Goodreads challenge. I was going through that and this happened to be one of the books on the list. So I picked it up. Instead of starting over, I picked it up halfway through and finished it. Therefore, I do believe that kind of affected how I felt about this. It was not gripping for me when I initially started reading it, so it is not like a top tier favorite of mine. It is beautiful writing. The story is very pretty. The book itself has beautiful pictures in it, and it is a love story between a merman and a young man who ended up making the cage, not knowing he was making a cage for this merman. It was a great story. I think if you like stories about mermaids, you will enjoy this one. The next one is Winter Solstice by Elin Hilderbrand. I think there's another Winter Solstice. That's why I want to make sure it's the Elin Hilderbrand one. This is another situation where I messed up. I think if you read all four of these books, you will enjoy it. It's comfort reading for that winter season. I happened to pick up this one all by itself. Yes, you can read it as standalone, but because this is the end of a chapter for this family who owns this inn, I think it would have been better for me to maybe pick one of the other books to start with or to read the whole series. So I thought it was good. I just wish I had started it from the beginning rather than the end. The next one is All We Were Promised, and this was an enjoyable civil rights style book, probably historical fiction, where it follows these Black women who are trying to escape their situation and are moving up to Philadelphia, I believe. Philadelphia. I thought it was a beautiful story. If you enjoy historical fiction, especially ones that deal with slavery, like The Kitchen House, those types of story, I think you will enjoy this one. The Light Between Oceans. This was one of my more favorite reads. I really enjoyed this story. This is beautiful writing, and I think this story is for everyone. This is where a couple are on an island because the man, it's kind of on this desolate island where people don't come and go often, and they're in charge of, or the husband is in charge of running the lighthouse. And a boat washes ashore and there is a baby on the boat. And the decisions that are made surrounding that incident and seeing what those decisions mean over a lifetime. Beautiful, beautiful story. And the last one is The Midnight Library. I have heard mixed reviews about this and I'm not sure why. I love this book. This was a 5-star read for me. I do think that it hits much better if you have gone through a lot of experiences in your life and you're in this midlife phase, being content with the decisions you've made, but question like, I wonder if I had done this differently, what would have happened? That's kind of the questions being brought up in this story. There is a trigger warning for suicide. So if you deal with depression, this may not land for you at all, and that's completely understandable. But for those of us who just kind of are in this state where we're like, not that we're disappointed with our life, but where you're just like wondering how it could be different, this, I think, lets you feel good about the decisions you've made. And then the last one is The Book of Lost Hours. And this is by far my favorite book so far this year. The Book of Lost Hours is very similar in a sense to the Midnight Library, where you kind of go into a different space. Unlike the Midnight Library being about a specific individual kind of looking at her past, this one is more kind of historical fiction and time travel, where the CIA is involved, and it's about erasing certain things that occur in time. And I absolutely loved this. I thought it was very well written, and think that if you are into time travel stories or into historical fiction, I think you would probably enjoy this. I thought this was great. So those are the, I think, 8 or 9 books that I read this month. Let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know what you thought of these. And if you have any recommendations of what I should read next.